For this project, you're going to need an artificial pumpkin. Mine is a foam pumpkin that I've painted white. You will also need a chunky weight yarn. And then you will need some scissors and the hot glue gun for this little project. So to begin with, we're going to start by doing our finger knitting. And what you'll do is you'll take that piece of yarn and you'll place it between your middle finger and your index finger. And then you'll take the yarn and you'll wrap it behind your middle finger and then behind your index finger in a figure 8 motion. And you'll repeat it again. Behind the middle finger, behind the index finger. And then you'll take the back loop and loop it across the front loop and then pull the tail tight. And then repeat again. Wrap it around in that figure 8 motion. Pull it over your index finger, pull it over the middle finger, and then at this point you can pull the tail down to the bottom. And then you're going to just repeat this process until we get it long enough to cover the pumpkin on the side of the pumpkin, and it will be from the top to the bottom, reaching around the bottom of the pumpkin. You'll see how that works in just a minute. But you'll just keep working on this, and as you wrap it around, you'll want to, after you pull it, the loops across each loop, you'll want to pull it tight to keep it so that your knitting is evenly spaced or the same size. Each loop is about the same size. You'll have to keep pulling it back on your finger after each loop as well, so that it doesn't come off your finger. Now this is kind of a project that you can do while watching a movie, binge watching your favorite show, or I actually brought it along in the car when I was going for a ride. So you can take it and do it anywhere. So you want to get it so it goes to about the middle of the bottom of the pumpkin and from the middle of the top of the pumpkin. So I'll need to add a couple more loops here. So on this particular pumpkin, it took me about 25 to 30 of these pieces or strips, knitted strips of finger knitting to cover the entire pumpkin. All right, I've got it long enough now. So what I'm going to do, so you'll see there that it fits now from there to there. Okay, so now you'll just trim off the yarn, and then you'll take it off and you'll loop that loop that was on your index finger through the loop that was on your middle finger, and then take the tail and pull it through that last loop and then pull it tight, and that will secure it. Now we just need to make more that are about that same size. So just keep that handy and begin again, placing that loop between your two fingers, wrapping it behind in that figure 8 motion, and away you go. This is really an easy little project that anyone can do. In fact, if you look on Pinterest, you'll see this finger knitted process for children. So even the kids could help do it. Of course, they would be different size fingers, so different size finger knitted strips. So you'll want to keep them all for the same project. But once you get them all completed, we'll be ready to start putting them on the pumpkin. To start gluing the little yarn strips on, I removed the stem, and we're going to begin by gluing in the grooved area of the pumpkin. So I just ran a bead of glue down the groove from top to bottom, and then take one end of that knitted strip and place it in the groove. And you'll just press it on and make sure it's well adhered, and then go to the next little grooved area. Run a bead of glue. You will go through a lot of glue sticks. I think for this particular pumpkin, I went through about 9 or 10. You'd be surprised how much glue it takes. And then just repeat, whoops, and till you have filled in all of the grooved areas of the pumpkin. Once all of the little knitted strips were glued down into the grooved area of the pumpkin, then I came back and I trimmed off all of the tails that were on the top and the bottom of the pumpkin. You'll want to also make sure that all of your strips are secured all the way to the tips on both sides, just to make sure that you don't have anything unraveling. And I flipped it over and then just repeat the process on the bottom, just trimming off all of those tails. Now I'm ready to place another finger knit strip on the raised area of the pumpkin. So I put some more glue down, placed the tip in between the two pieces, and then pressed it down to the bottom. And you'll see that that piece is a little bit long, and I will show you how I'm going to fix that. I take some scissors and leave about an inch longer than I want the finished piece to be. Cut it off, pull off any loose ends that there will be, and then find the end and then loop it through a loop and pull it tight. All right, and pull it tight there. All right, once that's tight, then you can just put a little more glue right there and work it in between the two edges, pulling the string down. And I'm just going to repeat this process. You'll see that I'll have some smaller areas that I'll have to fill in on this particular pumpkin. But I'll just do it the same way. Place a little bit of glue in there. Then take my piece, work it in between the two pieces. Secure it down, and then this one I'll put a little more glue on. Working it in between those two pieces, and then I'll trim it again, knot it off the same way, and adhere that knotted end back down on the bottom side of the pumpkin. So you'll see here again how I did that. Just pull off the loose ends, then take that loop and loop it through the cut end through the loop that's left, and then pull it tight. And then just adhere it down. And I'll just repeat this process all the way around the pumpkin until it's completely finished. The final part will be just trimming off any of those loose little tails that are left after adding those last few pieces of the finger knitted strips. And I'll show you how I embellished it. Now the original stem could be reinserted into the pumpkin, but I thought it would be a little more decorative to add an actual piece of a twig. So I cut a branch from a tree, and then I cut a leaf from a piece of linen fabric that I had. So I just pushed it into the foam, and then glued the leaf on there. You could also tie a little piece of jute around there for a little curly-cue thing hanging off of the pumpkin. But I just love the way it turned out. It's really a soft and cozy little pumpkin to add to your decor. We hope you've enjoyed this tutorial for this finger knitted pumpkin. If you would like to be notified of future tutorials on our channel, please subscribe and tap the notification bell so you will be notified when new videos are released. If you would like information for products used, please look in the description section. We'll have information there, and then also a link to our blog post for more in-depth photos. Thank you for watching another Sunnyside Design tutorial where we hope to bring your home to the sunny side of the street.